today. I want to give you some tips and answer your questions in relation to the energetic control, sensing the energy body, and what is it possible for us to do in terms of our energy, and what is perhaps harder or not so feasible. So that's the type of thing that we are going to cover today. I have two cats here with me, so hope they are going to be quiet. Can you see me? Oh, no, not yet. Now you can. Hello, how are you doing? Very glad to see you all. Let me adjust here my camera. Wonderful. So we have quite a few here in the discussion. It's so lovely because then I can answer your questions. I'm going to do my best to do like some introduction to the topic, because of course if you're going to discuss all of the different aspects, for those of you who have my book, you know that's only there to discuss about the activation of energy. I have 500 pages with a lot of research and a lot of studies and theories, but also with a lot of exercises and explanations of the practical side of things. And today we are going to try and focus more on the practical side. Is that okay with you? Because I think that is usually what is most emergently important to all of us. Let me introduce myself to those of you who are here for the first time. I am Nancy Trivellato. It's a great pleasure to have you here, either if you are already subscribed or if you are new. I study here about topics related with the reality beyond the physical body, beyond the physical world. But trying to bring all of these in terms of the spirituality, what there is beyond life, and what sort of phenomena we can experience here. Forgive me. Trying to bring all of this vision, what is beyond the body and what is in the body, in a very down-to-earth manner, studying with the best objective knowledge possible within this realm. But that's what we try to do here. I appreciate very much all of you who ask questions and who are here with me, because it's wonderful. I see how much you guys appreciate the information in depth, and that's what I love bringing. Wonderful. So I prepared here a presentation, quick presentation, but I thought it would help us to give us a guideline so we can go through it in a more clear way, and then I get your question. Okay, so I'm going to bring here, therefore, these slides. Let me make sure I am controlling them well. Yes, here we are. And the first thing I would like to ask you, if you learned something with this video, please remember to give me a thumbs up. Small detail that makes a big difference. That is the life we live today. We have to keep up with all of this. And the first thing I would like to mention may seem to you a little bit like starting from the wrong point, but I think that it's exactly the point that we have to focus on here. Evolution. What is to evolve in terms of us, ourselves as consciousness, as being, as our spiritual essence? What is to evolve? Of course, that is a very broad discussion, which I do not intend to go through here completely in depth. But there is one aspect of our evolution as beings, I mean, beyond just this body. We know how this body evolves, we age, and that's it. But when we discuss in terms of what is beyond this condition, we are going to see that evolution or evolving means mastering your manifestation, or each of our manifestation, in terms of all of our bodies. So how much we master now the physical body? Well, very little, I guess, because we still have to learn so much. We do not know some diseases, how we end up catching them. We cannot heal ourselves at will completely. We cannot adjust our health completely, so we are limited in how well we can control and master the physical body. Some things we don't even know how they work. Okay, but then what about mastering our astral body, non-physical body? What about mastering our mental body, the essence of our mind, which is not in the physical brain? It's beyond the physical brain, and that is why so many different phenomena is possible to happen, such as like intuition, premonition, many others that I could cite, but anyways, it's related with our mind, how our mind expands and can grasp information that is beyond just the physical realm. So mastering all of these different bodies means we are evolving, we are learning life after life. We are more and more being able to understand how things work, keep ourselves in a positive situation, which means happy, stable, but not alienated, with full understanding. What does it have to do with energy control, and why am I bringing this? It's very important for us to think of, because when we discuss about mastering all of these different energies and these different bodies, this is an image that I borrowed from the IAC, International Academy of Consciousness. We use it in the Consciousness Development Program. By the way, any of you who would like to take the Consciousness Development Program, I have a discount code for you in the description. But anyways, what we see here in this image, unfortunately you do not see my cursor while I move, but what we see is like first the physical body lying down, and then we see a second layer, and of course that is just visual effects. Second layer showing the astral body or non-physical body, just detached, like disconnected from the physical body. But then we see also the mental core, our mental capacities, which is not exactly a body, but it is separate in a way, so we represent in this way, and that's how we go deep and deeper and deeper in the Consciousness Development Program to explain all of this. But why am I showing this here? Why am I bringing this? Because today we are going to discuss about one of these bodies, and it's not the physical, it's not the astral body, and it's not the mental core, the mental body. No. It's one that is in between. So I would like to call your attention here. I wonder if I can move this. I doubt it, but you see that there is a connection between the physical body that you see here in the screen, lying down, and the one that is coming out. There are loads of connections and colors and movements and energy all around, and you will see links of energy that are, in a way, keeping the physical and the non-physical body interconnected. These links, we see them as links. Actually, we don't see exactly like this, but there is no way to represent how we see when we are seeing with the eyes of the astral body. It's slightly different. It's so many, so many, so many, so many. It's almost like we can see all of them, but if we would represent here, would be just a white or bright thing. So we created some threads so we could study it. But these threads that you see connecting the two bodies, these are the energy that create the connection, the interface between physical and non-physical, and that is what forms the energy body. So when we talk about the energy body, we are actually talking about this connection here that is creating this bond between physical and non-physical. Now, when we are here inside of our physical bodies, therefore all of the different bodies are aligned. So it's a matter of alignment. They are same space, different dimensions. So they are aligned. Therefore, the energy body creates a sort of a halo that is all over inside of our body. But why am I explaining this, and what is my point bringing this? My point is that when we observe this situation, let me bring my screen. When we observe this, what we notice is that all of the different types of perceptions that we have in terms of the spirit world, in terms of energy, in terms of sensing a spirit or finding the guidance of a spirit guide, any of these things, they happen and they are possible because of this energy body, because of the structure that is connecting the physical body to the non-physical body. And therefore, our reality, even though we are here inside the physical body, it is much beyond the physical because we are connected constantly, permanently with a non-physical dimension, with the spirit world, and with our non-physical side. Therefore, evolution means we being able to grasp more and more of this reality beyond physical, different layers, different dimensions, different levels of reality, and mastering them. That is the key. And here, our focus is explicitly in the energy body. Therefore, considering all of this, let's see what is energetic control. I created here a brief definition, but just to help us be on the same page. So when we talk about energetic control, what is it that I am referring to? I'm referring to our ability to exert voluntary action with the energy body, whether internal, so moving energies inside of us and producing changes inside of us and in our chakras, or external, being able to improve the quality of the energy of a room, do a healing, or some sort of thing like this. And also is an ability to be aware of related occurrences. What would be related occurrences in this case? Well, our chakras are pulsing, our chakras are obstructed, are blocked, or we have some sort of energy entering inside of us, or there is a presence, like a spiritual presence, affecting us. So how is this presence affecting us and how can we deal with it? So this is the sort of thing that is related with energetic control. So our capacity, our ability to exert action and to perceive what's going on. This is super, super key here. And then let me bring to you a different aspect here. Could you please hold just a second? I have to fix something here in the room that is disturbing me. Just a second. Thank you. I had to go open the window because I was feeling like it was so dark here. Thank you very much for holding there. So, okay, then the energy body, therefore, that we were discussing, it is structured, it is in a way formed by all of our chakras and the energy that is between the chakras. If that's what it is, when we talk about controlling our energy, controlling our chakras, we are in a way discussing about controlling all of this capacity of interacting with the non-physical world. So then, what are some very important observations that we could do in terms of our evolution, in terms of energy control? There are a few things here that I would like to bring and make sure it's super clear. Energetic control is an attribute that all of us have. Controlling our chakras, controlling energy is natural to every human being. However, some of us, We are a bit ahead in our experience with it and in our capacity to recognize what's going on in our energy body, whilst others don't even acknowledge or have a clue that we have subtle energies. But that is natural. It's something that we develop throughout experiences, lives, different phenomena experience, such as the out-of-body experiences or capacity of sensing different types of energies, positive or negative, around of us, and how they would affect our chakras, and they would affect our emotions, and they would affect our mind, even in our thoughts. This is energetic control. So, natural. We are all evolving. It's not necessary that somebody will watch Nancy's tips or read Nancy's book or anybody's book, as a matter of speaking, and it is something that we will learn. And we have been learning throughout lives. But how have we been learning this? Because, in a way, whilst we are in the physical body, we may have sorts of experiences that we don't necessarily connect with energy, but they are connected with energy. I will give you some examples, like the quality of our sleep, what sort of dreams we have, how we interact with others, and how we sense the energy of others. I know so many people that they are simply shy, introvert, and they try to prevent themselves from having intimate and closer relationships with people in general because they are too sensitive in terms of energy. The energetic sensitivity causes them to close up their energies. So it is almost something natural that people will develop in a way when that is the condition. But there is another aspect here that I want to bring to you, is that the natural flow, the natural progress can be accelerated or can be hindered by use of techniques or substances or due to certain experiences. Many times people would consider, for example, that they would find a shortcut to develop their energetic capacity, to develop their psychic awareness, and looking for shortcuts. People try and find techniques that it's a miracle. They would simply enjoy learning in one evening a lot of things and never unlearning again, and they would not only learn how to do, but would know always when to do and what are the different aspects involved in their needs to work with energy. So here what we see is that, yes, there are many techniques that can help, of course. Otherwise, why would we be studying techniques? There are. But we do not necessarily need them because people always evolved in their control of their non-physical bodies, their astral bodies, their energy body, their minds in a way. Sorry, I have allergy today. So my voice is strange. Let me have a sip of coffee. So we always had that. So it's not to say that it's only something recent. However, when people look for techniques or shortcuts, especially techniques that are like shortcuts, it's very risky. I think that's the best way of putting it. It's not dangerous, but it's risky. Because sometimes we may find techniques or groups or go to places or join some movements or ideologies that they teach a technique that comes in a package, that there are lots of other side effects attached to it. Comes in a package that only part of the reality, only the surface of it is explained. And therefore, when we do the technique, we kind of know what we are trying to do and what we are trying to achieve, but we do not know all of the different possibilities that can happen, and depending on our style of sensitivity, how that technique will work. Because most technique, they focus on dealing with the inability, with the limitations of the person, as if, let me help you have this. You have to have more of this phenomenon, or this control, or this energetic sensation, or opening this chakra more and more and more and more, without acknowledging what are the skills that the person already has. What are the natural abilities and characteristics of one's energy body? And therefore, we may work in areas of our chakras, and we may do techniques that they may, in certain cases, just connect us too much with some spirits that are close by, or make us too permeable to energies that are around, or on the contrary, make us so impervious to the energies around, so unaware, so close to them, that instead of becoming more lucid and controlling more all of our bodies and our energy and our capacity to grasp reality, we reduce it. So it's quite delicate. I'm not saying we shouldn't do techniques, we should do all of them. We should try, but with common sense, applying our own analysis, allowing ourselves to evaluate what's going on, because if we just follow what someone else is saying, we are going to consider that an X technique that may be very risky, it's always good, because for one person it was good. If a technique was good for one person, doesn't mean necessarily it's good for many, or for all, or that we can generalize that. That's why I invested so many years, actually over 15 years, researching the velo technique, which is the technique that I enjoy very much teaching. I use many techniques and I teach them all, but I focus on this one because it's safer. I will comment more later on in this video with you about the velo technique. But what I'm saying is, we can resort to techniques. People resort to substances, as if I could do something to my physical body. And by doing something to my physical body, that would interfere with a body that's not physical, it's energetic. With a body that is, for example, the emotional body, the astral body. Sometimes, yes, it can affect in good ways and in bad ways. And again, what I would like to say is that there are risks. It's not true that there are only benefits. It's not true. But that is not my point here to discuss about substances. It's more focused on the techniques. I will do a video to discuss about substances with you, or to you, because I have done some research on it. But the point here, or my point is, yes, they can help, but yes, they can also hinder. But you know what? Look here, there's another thing that can also cause or affect the rate with which you evolve in terms of controlling your energy. That is certain types of experiences. And what do we mean by certain types of experience? I mean, you may have had experiences in your past lives or here in this lifetime that they were traumatic to you, that you could not understand, that they were too impactful, and you felt afraid, or you felt a negative sensation, or you felt an energy that came to you while you were crossing or passing by a building, specific one, and then comes the energy, and later on you have a horrible night with lots of sleep paralysis and nightmares. So that energetic sensation you felt there, it's going to be connected in your mind as something traumatic, something negative. This sort of thing may end up hindering your progress because we avoid sensing energy sometimes. We have to learn to sense, to distinguish, to control it, and to balance ourselves out. And in some cases, even to help balance the energies that was out of us, that we are feeling and recognizing it's not so positive. It's possible to do it, and that's what we want to achieve. And that's what we can achieve by controlling our energies, and that's why I bring this with so much attention and I give importance to this. It's a lot of research behind this. Now, what are the requirements? I go very briefly here. First requirement that you need to have to be able to increase the rate of your development in terms of energy. And I say increase because Just by being alive, we are learning something and doing something. But we need more than that. So the rate, the requirement, apologies, number one is focused attention. And that is the number one thing why so many people do not have more control of their energies and more awareness of their sensations. Because we keep living life without being able to also include in the grasp of our realization in our mind, in what we give importance to, we do not include the energetic aspect. So if we would feel, for example, in a moment that, oh, we got with our mind so tired and so confused for a period of time, what are we going to say? Oh, I am too sleepy. Oh, oof, I think I need to eat. And in many cases, yes, we are just sleepy or we just need to eat. But in some cases, it can be something else. And if we do not focus with attention on the different elements, am I hungry? Am I tired? Is there something else? Did this sensation come out of the blue for no reason, from 0 to 90, and then it went from 90 to 20 out of the blue, or 90 to 0 in terms of percentage, out of the blue for no reason, then there's got to be something there to be observed. So we need to include this. We need to pay attention to what aspects of our life are not simply physical. But that is not so easy, right? Because sometimes we find it challenging to identify them. But that's why I'm here. I can help you, giving you tips, examples, and I love giving examples when I give an explanation, because otherwise it becomes empty. We have to be able to connect with ourselves. But through examples, you start seeing what sort of thing could be present there in in the moments of your life, different situations that could be related with energy. And here a second point that I'm bringing is, you must have determination to direct the intent of your action to the energy body above all else. What do I mean? Well, we want to control energy. So I was talking about you sensing some sort of energy that comes close to you or hit one of your chakras or makes you feel sick or gives you a very sharp mind or puts some sort of foggy mind thoughts there on you, not because of physical elements or factors, but due to energetic aspects and spiritual aspects. So all of that come, and then you recognize, and now you want to change something. You want to move the energies or create some sort of better distribution or open a chakra or change the quality of the energy that is inside of you so that you do not keep feeling poisoned by some toxic energy that came closer to you, completely external to you, or sometimes related to you, but it's aggravated by some sort of presence. So you want to change that. What is it that you have to do? You have to have absolute determination to put your attention, as we said, only in the energy, but you are going to direct your intent of action. I want to change something, I want to do something, I want my energy to come out. We have to learn how to direct the focus of that intention of acting towards the energy body. Because many times when we say to someone, well, let us, for example, expand your energies or make your energy pulse, or you bring energy in or out, or you move the energy inside your body. When we say that, most people very often will find it very difficult to know how do I do it, but I'm not feeling it. Yes, you are not feeling it because you are hoping to feel something with the physical body, but we are not acting with the physical body, we are acting with energy. So what you are going to feel is not absolutely physical. It may have physical impacts, like an indirect sensation that comes to the physical body, but the core of your action when you are controlling your energy is over your energy body. So it is different. But if we do not learn how to focus, how to guide our attention and intention to the energy body, we don't do much. So as you see here, it's much more important that you learn to focus and guide your determination, or to learn how to act with the energy body, than to sense it. Yes, we need to sense to know what's going on, but that comes in time, because normally the sensation is there, but we are finding it difficult to recognize what sensation is energetic or not, what is just our mind. And that's a training that can be done. But in this case here, when we consider this is an absolute requirement. Otherwise, we are going to be doing techniques that is more in our imagination than in the energy. To do any technique, we have to think of it, and we have to use our will. But that does not mean it is an imagination. We are doing something, perhaps not feeling much, but we are doing something. Otherwise, it will be just imagination. And then we have here a third aspect. And this third aspect that I want to bring here to you is that we need to be willing, we need to put our will to break out of the restriction of the ordinary physical life. If someone is not interested in sensing and expanding their capacity of perceiving life, of being connected with reality in a way that will push them beyond the limitations of the physical body, then hardly this person will, in a way, create a condition in which they will pay attention to energies, because their mind is already super focused on the physical body only. So then energy, body, energetic reality, spiritual reality doesn't mean anything. So we need to see how much do we want to break free from the restriction of the physical body, of the physical world. And whilst we are still living here, balanced, understanding what we need to be healthy and well, we are also expanded and being able to connect with realities that goes beyond, but real realities, not fantasies. This is key. So we recognize here a number of elements that they are already part of us. I assume all of you have these in different degrees, otherwise you would not be watching this up to here. You would have already turned off this channel, this video, and I don't care. But no, you are here because you already have some sort of attention and recognition, realization of the energetic phenomena. You know that you can focus on your energy body and perform certain things with your energy, and you are willing to learn it, and you are also willing and wanting to go beyond physical world. If we stay only here with the manifestation in the physical body, well, in a way, I could say life is easier. We are not paying attention to any spirit around. We are not even considering what is more ethical for us to do, because we are not considering the effects that that could have on others, or on the world, or on ourselves after this life ends. So life becomes simpler. But if it's true, and for me it is, just here for the sake of the argument, if it's true that we don't die, if it's true that there is a continuum of evolution and that there are other dimensions that we manifest in, again, for me, I am certain of it because of experience that I have had and studies and research. But considering this or assuming this, how can we escape from living a life that goes beyond only the physical body? So many people try to simplify their lives, but one day or another, sooner or later, the non-physical reality will hit them and they will have to recognize it. But many people, they avoid doing that because they are afraid, fear. So I go back to those traumatic experiences that I mentioned before. So some people, because of traumatic experience, they try to escape this perception of the non-physical reality. Okay, good. So here, some quick tips for you. Number one, try to observe what goes on, and you will see what is energetic or not. It's for you to identify that. Sometimes we make mistakes, we think it is, it's not, and vice versa. That is no problem. Sometimes, confusing a bit one thing for another or making some mistakes, that is natural. That's how we learn. But what is important here, and I want to reinforce this as much as I can, you are going to do that without fantasies and without repression. Let me explain what I mean by fantasy and what I mean by repression, because that is very important, and that's here, it's a key tip. If you focus on situations that happen to you that you will consider is energetic, and you will say, wow, what happened was this big, or wow, my chakra was exploding, oh, I felt as if somebody was trying to kill me because I felt a sensation in my throat chakra, and that was like killing you. So when we exaggerate things, just because we are observing that and we are in awe, or we are trying to describe, or we are really making it bigger than it is and going to conclusions that it's not there. We only know we felt a hit in the throat chakra. A hit with I hit. And then that's what we felt, and we are going to say, oh, somebody was trying to suffocate me. If that's what you noticed, it's possible. Yeah. You are not going to be suffocated by a non-physical entity, but you can feel as if they were trying to. It's their intent. So you feel the energy, you feel the quality. But if you only felt the hit, then when you extrapolate to conclusions that they are not there, it confuses your observation. Confuses completely, because instead of being certain of what happened, being certain that, well, there was an energy that came from outside and affected me a lot, so I need to understand what's going on. Oh, I had that 3 times in my life, this day, that day, or no, I never had that. Let me make sure I memorize, because if I ever have again, I want to compare the situations. So if you observe, accepting it, but without putting conclusions there that they shouldn't be because you haven't perceived that, actually it's just an extrapolation that helps you to grow, because it gives you like data for you to keep analyzing and studying. And even though you say, but I'm not doing a specific formal research, no, but you are accumulating experience. Sooner or later, you will start having more of the perception of what is related there. And there is another very important tip here. Invest on self-knowledge. What do I mean by invest on self-knowledge? What does that mean? It means that just by living life, not paying attention to certain aspects of our manifestation, does not create any sort of self-knowledge to ourselves. Self-knowledge requires self-criticism, or self-critique even in a way. Why does it require? Because when we have an action or a thought, or when we feel hurt, or when we feel happy, we have to stop for a moment and think, why do I feel hurt? Well, is it because I'm embarrassed? Is it because I feel down? Is it because I am too sensitive? Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but something that we need to know how to cope with. These are all techniques, and many times related with the energy body, so completely connected to what we are saying. But if we do not stop to analyze what's behind, and why certain situations happen very often to us, why sometimes there is something we want to reach and we never get it, what is involved there, we need to give ourselves the possibility of understanding these things, but getting out of the superficiality. If we are shallow, then it's not self-knowledge. It's just we paying attention to ourselves. But it's not true that to acquire self-knowledge, we are always going to see our weak side or our flaws. When I work with people in a one-on-one session, so many times I help them understand their characteristics with energy, with sensations, and some sort of spirits and phenomena they can have. But it's not rare that I have to help them see themselves, the aspects that they may be masking or pretending not to see, denying, some aspects that they still need to develop, but quite often aspects that are positive. So sometimes people are too demanding on themselves and they punish intimately themselves for things that it's not their fault. And that some things that just happened in a natural way. So let's now put things into perspective. But it's very difficult in some cases for the own person to be able to recognize all that. So, but we need to dedicate to it. Self-knowledge. Invest on your self-knowledge. Invest time. Be interested. Find good tools, not superficial tools, good tools. And one very, very important tip for self-knowledge is out-of-body experience, conscious out-of-body experience. When we start working to have the out-of-body experience in a way that we can identify how we are detaching, what we do outside the body, how we feel, we expand a lot our self-knowledge. And when we work with energy as well, because we start being able to realize the different types of entities, spirits, and energy that revolve around of us, and why, and what sort of connection, and are they positive, are they dubious, are they manipulative, are they insidious? So it can be anything, right? But the point is, if we recognize that, we start seeing what is beyond, what is hiding behind the curtains, that is there but we cannot see. But anyway, self-knowledge is a challenge to all of us, absolutely. I 100% include myself there, because it is limited to our own lucidity. And the more lucid we get, the more we expand our capacity with all of our bodies, the more we are going to see where we could be doing a self-corruption, convincing ourselves of something that is not really that. But we need to give the first step. Take the first step. I think that is absolutely important. And then there is a third thing here that I think it's a very important tip. It's the velo technique. You can do any technique you want with energy. But let me explain why I recommend and see so much importance in the velo technique. What happens is that when we do any technique with energy, and you can create your own, you do not need to buy a book, create your energy technique. Energy goes out here, enter here, and then it pulses, and then it turns inside your head, and then it goes to different areas, and then you put the energies frontwards, you expand, and then you bring it. You can do anything. Imagine your energy body is there. In the same way that I can move if I'm dancing. Well, there are so many different ways of dancing, moving. Each of us, even if, unless there's a very good choreography and very well trained, people move in different ways. So that is it. It's your energy body. Use it. Train it. But, first of all, you need to understand how it works. Otherwise, you are going to make uses of it. I'm talking about the energy body that may end up causing some side effects. So that is super important to understand. Otherwise, we may fall in traps that we created, right? But we may. So why do I like the velo technique? For those who are here for the first time, I'm going to put a video here for you to watch to know what is the velo technique. You have several videos teaching. Velo stands for voluntary energetic longitudinal oscillation. That's a method that I have created, but based on ancient techniques. So it's not from scratch. But I did a lot of research to develop the method in a way that would be safer. Because when we do anything with energy, we affect the environment around, we affect ourselves, we become more permeable to energies that comes from outside or less. So we need to understand what happens in each exercise. The velo technique creates some sort of action that is activating all of our chakras and bringing it to balance because it redistributes the energy. So it creates some sort of alignment in all of the chakras, but I mean hundreds, right, all over the energy body. And it starts like exposing, getting rid of energies that are foreigners, that are contaminating us. But that is a process. And if there is any sort of influence, negative influence, energy or physical person thinking negative of you or trying to influence you, or some sort of spirit in your room. Sorry, I have a hair here in my face. I think it's a cat's hair. Or any sort of experience or energy that could be influencing and affecting you in your room. When you do the velo technique, you create almost like a sealed, like self-encompassed energy field. I think that is the best way of putting it, because energy that are from outside, they will find it much harder to penetrate you, because in that moment you are moving your energy inside of your body through all the chakras as efficiently as possible, and therefore it makes it much harder for influences and energies to penetrate. And it will also become much harder for anyone around to pull energy out of you. So it will be kind of you with yourself. And while you are doing it, you are rebalancing all of your chakras. That's why the velo technique is so recommended, because when you do it, number one, you are in contact with the energies of your whole body. You are paying attention to your own energies, but you will recognize when something external had affected your energy. You will recognize if you are trying to do it, but there are some external forces trying to stop you from doing the velo technique, which can happen. But then it's not hurting you, just trying to stop you. And it can be unpleasant, but it was there. That's why it's trying to stop you. Velo does not attract or evoke any sort of spirit, unless they were already there, unless they were already connected to you. Unless it was there and you were not observing, because of velo, you become more lucid. But anyways, it does not create opportunity for a new problem to come. On the contrary. So that's why I enjoy so much this technique. But when we do this technique, the velo technique, we are in a way dealing with our whole body, and we get very intimate in terms of the sensations and how we deal with our energy body. We get intimate with how to do it, because we are at the same time moving all of our energies and not allowing interference. So that's why this technique is so important. So that is a tip. But you can do anything, I already told you. Do your own thing, but observing, always knowing what you are doing, what could be the side effects, and what and how that's really affecting you. We have to be ready to throw in the rubbish bin anything that is not helping us. And finally, I remind you to give me a thumbs up if the video helps you. I'm going to get your questions now with great pleasure. So, many of you here with me, thank you so much for keep paying attention and not parallel conversation. That helps me so much. It does not distract me. And I'm going to get your questions. You just write questions and put it down there. Especially questions that you need someone that would be paying attention on your case specifically. I felt this, I had this. How do I increase connection with this chakra? Let me comment something interesting with you before. Sometimes, and that is one thing that it's not very well discussed, but I have seen this in many cases of people that I have worked with, that I have researched how their chakras work. Sometimes we can have a condition in which one chakra is interconnected to another. Let me make a parenthesis. Energy is moving from one chakra to another the whole time, as much as our blood is flowing through all of our different veins and arteries in many directions. But there is a main direction. They come to our heart and they are pumped out again. In the case of the chakras, they are also all distributed, but sometimes there start some sort of connection between two specific chakras for a specific reason. I'll give you an example. You would feel a very uncomfortable pressure in your chest, and that always gives you headache. I'm talking about energy. I'm not talking about a physical problem, okay? But it is so common to happen and to be energy related, better saying. And there were cases such as this in which I go and I try to put energies, let's say, in the heart chakra of the person, and then immediately I feel a pain or like a hit in the back of the neck, like in the nape chakra. And then I see there is a connection. And then I work here, and then the person feels something here. This is just an example. But two chakras can be interconnected in ways that are not positive. Because it's natural that all chakras are connected to one another. And if I would like, for example, to have energies entering your head and flowing through the sole of your feet or into your stomach or flowing through your throat, I should be able to do it. If the energies are all well distributed, yourself, should be able to do it on you as well. But sometimes when we do it, you start putting energy in one chakra and immediately it goes directly to another, showing that there is some sort of energy passage, that there is a dysfunction. It's not working properly. And in many cases, some entities, some spirits, or even the energy of a place, the quality of the energy of a place, may start affecting you in a way that it creates this connection. One very, very common connection that I have seen a few times is between the nape chakra and the epigastro chakra. I have a video about the epigastro chakra, because the epigastro chakra is one chakra that is kind of in the stomach, here in the upper part, or in the external. So it's not the heart, and it's not in the belly, it's not the solar plexus exactly, or not as down in the abdomen as people normally attribute to the solar plexus, but it's rather up here. And that is very uncomfortable when there is any dysfunction there, and dysfunctions in the epigastral chakra is much more common than people would think. But I've seen quite often connection between the nape chakra, which is in a way connected with our capacity to sense non-physical presences and energies from outside. Of course, we sense in all chakras, but in a way it's almost as if this chakra here translates better the quality of the energy that is around, or the quality of the spiritual presence that could be close by. Therefore, sometimes it creates a connection between this and the epigastral chakra. So there is a sensation, for example, of some anxiety that is related to energy that comes here because of a certain presence or because of the energy of an environment. These are just examples. But that combination I've seen quite a few times on people that I have worked with. For example, when I am in the VIP training, which is 10 days, I'm working only with one person, and we have time to go deep in so many things in terms of energy, in terms of the astral body and the astral projection and anything else, as a matter of fact. But then I've seen this connection a lot. I've seen different ones, but this in a way seems to be more present. Sometimes it's the cardio chakra. Both are related with emotions, but emotions that are of very different types, and they affect us in different ways. Anyways, I hope that gives you an idea of what sort of thing we can sense and how we can deal with. And I was explaining about different maneuvers that we can do with our energy. I have a question from Patricia, so let me read it. I'm going to bring to the screen so it becomes easier for all of us, for me as well. I've been doing the velo technique for some time. Probably you are saying doing, right? The velo technique for some time. I feel my energy very much. When I move my energy through my body, energy builds up in my root chakra. It's very intense and takes my breath away. Is this just a blockage in my root chakra? This happens also when I meditate or do Qigong. Energy builds up to the point where I feel like I will explode. Thank you. Thank you, Patricia, for so interesting question. And that is a common situation or a common reaction with energy. But hardly that is related with energy blockage. I have seen several people who had this. Sometimes they didn't tell me they did have this, but I was working with energy. I mean, I was hired for this. I was doing a private session to work with energy. And then I start telling them, well, there is a sensation, there's an energy that is not so well distributed in this area. Sometimes we feel it in the thighs or the internal area of the thighs. So it's super common, it's just energy. However, when that is repeating too much, or gets too strong, or comes spontaneously in different moments. For example, you are meditating, or you are lying down to sleep, and that comes spontaneously. That usually means totally the opposite. Means an excess of energy, means accumulated energy, and it could mean, and then you will have to analyze, it could mean also some sort of connection with external energies and external individuals. I will try to explain each of them so that it makes, at least you can ponder about them. One situation that happens is that our energy is supposed to flow through all of the chakras. Sometimes there is one chakra that we are more sensitive than another. So you could be just relaxed and sensing more your frontal chakra, your stomach, or the root chakra. Nothing wrong with that. But it's a certain degree. When that starts taking over too much, and when we try to do energy exercise, like you said, velo, or you try to meditate, and that takes over, becomes only that, it's impossible to pay attention to anything else. Usually that is because there is this accumulation of energy, and with the accumulation of energy, there is some sort of a repression. We repress the energy, and we do not, or we try to escape from specific external contacts. There are many cases in which some non-physical presences, good or bad or so-so or ignorant, they could try and get close to us based on the energy of the root chakra. They can do it with any energy in our bodies, in our energy body. But the energy of the root chakra makes it easier. So usually it's more root chakra or cardio chakra. Those are the two most common, but starting with the root chakra. So the number one thing that you want to do, Patricia, is this is okay if I feel it once in a year, but it's not okay if I feel it 3 times in a week. Even if it's brief, it's not okay. It shows there is an excess of energy. So you have, in a way, to try and alleviate it. Alleviate, maybe not paying so much attention. Maybe you are not paying so much attention, but you are there doing your meditation, and some non-physical presences come by, and they trigger on you that sensation because they want to connect with your energies of the root chakra. And then they don't let you get out of that loop because that's what allows them to be close to you. It can be during the night, can be in an astral projection, can be on a regular basis, can be during your meditation. But now you see, it became so present that even when you do velo, that happens. You have to do velo stronger, make the energies flow, and maybe, I do not know if you have a partner, but you know, the root chakra many times gives us a sensation related with a sexual appeal or a sexual feeling. Nothing wrong, just because the chakra is there. If it were in a different part of the body, you would feel it corresponding. But in this case, maybe you want to think a little bit. Well, do I masturbate? Do I allow this energy to come out? Oh, some people, I have, for example, had one client that she was married, but she was not so close to her husband. They were not having sex so often. He was not needing, but she was needing it. And in the moment, and it's not your case, of course, I don't even know you, but I'm just bringing examples. And in the moment that she started, you know, allowing herself to masturbate, to feel it, to get those energies flowing without fantasy, without allowing entities to come closer, because we do not want to allow this to happen. And if it's there, we want to cleanse it. It has to be us alone. But in the moment that she started doing this, she felt much alleviated, because sometimes during the day she would feel the root chakra, and that's uncomfortable because we are kind of feeling a sensation that distracts us as much as it would if it were in the forehead or in another part. But that distraction makes us think of sex, which makes us feel like having sex. But then we are walking the street, and then we think, what's wrong with me? So I just gave examples, actually. I commented more than answering your question, because it could be different things, Patricia, but I thought it was important that we would go as deep as possible into that. And then I have Chris. Chris is saying, during velo, I often feel the senses of blocked energy and tension in my jaw and mouth. Would you have an advice about why this happens? Is this common? You know, Chris, this, are you tensing it, or you feel just the energy, tension, the energy? Because you say here, blocked energies and tension. Probably the tension, by paying so much attention, you maybe tense this part, which is not uncommon, it's very common. You know, like when we bite strongly and then we are trying to pay attention, and this may create an energy block. I would say rather pay attention how relaxed you are, and make sure that you are not using the physical body to try and move the energy. You know, when we tense here, tense there, there is no problem if we tense a bit, but when we do it with the intention of helping the energy to flow better, then that is a problem, because it doesn't help. So it's not wrong to tense, but it doesn't help. So we want to avoid it as much as possible. So pay attention to it. I never heard this you are describing. Yes, I did hear, but related to tension, not related to perceiving energy blocks. So that's why I'm a bit hesitant in answering in a very categorized way. Here, aqui ao lado, while doing the velo technique, is it very frequent to feel like tiny insects crawling sensation in head and hair? Is it normal? Yes, it's normal, it happens, and that is the activation of the energy in this area. So certain chakras, and the energy is redistributing. Sometimes we feel as if the hair, like somebody's touching our hair and we feel moving. So that is, yes, that is due to the energy movement. That is good. That shows the energy is getting more loose. But we will always pay attention to how we sense afterwards. But if that's the sensation you feel, that's absolutely normal. Okay. And then I have another question here. Oops, I forgot to. I have, hello Kay. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for attracting my attention on asking myself, is this energy or not? I am in a new environment with a lot of energetic intensity, is it? An international community around a farm. And I'm feeling regular hits, bites in my throat. Emotional reactions and energy draining. Can I use velo in this circumstance? You should. It's more than you can, you should. Because what you are describing here, I can picture very well a number of different specific energetic components around part of life. But if you are sensitive, you have to work on balancing out your energy so that it's less penetrable. It's velo that is going to give you what you need at this moment. And whilst you are still under that complex environment, complex energetically and spiritually, and lots of different energies all mixed, whilst you are in there, you do velo, 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 velo. That is going to create like a buffer, so those energies don't enter so easily, and if they do, you have more time to observe what's going on, you have more time to work with velo, and if you sense something negative getting close by, you do velo in that moment. Do not wait to do it later on when you arrive home. I have hundreds of people that I have mentored to go through some hard situations that they were experiencing, or even with themselves. Working with velo, because sometimes we have to do velo in the right moment. If we leave it to do in 2 days, well, of course it always helps, but it doesn't tackle the situation as well as if we were, or if we would have done it immediately in the right moment. So pay attention to it. That is very important. Okay, Kelly? Ande is here. How are you, Ande? Thanks for being here. Are the terms blocked energy and excess of energy mean the same thing? No, they don't mean the same thing in my vocabulary. Because blocked energies is accumulated energies in one area. But the problem is not the accumulated energies. The problem is the word blocked. Because we tend to use the word blocked to different situations. If one person is drained or has one chakra that is prone to be drained, or there is one area in their bodies in which the energies do not flow, or if there is an area that the energy is too accumulated and therefore creates this sort of pressure, or if there is an area in which there is a mini energy field with negative energies that are stored there since long time, all of these we say, oh, there's a blockage here. And then when we use a word that is so, ambivalent, we end up not having a good word. So the ideal word here would not be blocked energies, would be a dysfunction in the energy, which can be any of these things that I mentioned. An accumulation is a blockage. But if the energies do not flow naturally and they skip one area, so we have lack of energy in one area, it's also a blockage, meaning something is interfering with how the energy should be flowing normally. So here in this case, these are different things, because when I say blocked, in my vocabulary, I mean the energies are not passing through because there is one quality of energy there. And that quality of energy is very old. But sometimes we could have an accumulation of energy in a chakra, not because it's an old block, old energy block that is there inside. Suppose it were here the throat chakra. Many times we can sense it because we are accumulating energy. Suppose there's some emotion that we keep holding. So we are accumulating the energies. So that is easier for us to balance than if it were a block caused by some different energy there in the root. But it's a very good question. They don't mean the same thing. I'm so used to use these terms in my mind to interpret the situations that I experience that I even forgot how hard it can be for someone who is just listening to me say, but what is the difference? Absolutely, very, very good the question that you brought. And I think what's important is that I am clear enough on what I am trying to say, and you guys find the way you are going to express it. When we work with energy, and talking about energy control, so I'm going to share with you something in addition. When we work with energies, for example, with a person, sometimes there are situations that is so hard to describe and teach someone else because they are so subtle. We look for definitions, explanations, and sensations that they are very well demarcated, but sometimes we do not have them. So there are cases in which I am putting energy, for example, to flow in one person's energy body, just to sense if it's flowing normally, if it's too much, if it's too little, to make a general assessment. But when I'm doing that, there are cases in which I sense the energy do not enter. It's very hard. I would have to apply a higher level of will and pressure for the energy to enter than would be normal. But I know, depending on the hardness, depending on how it feels, the impenetrability feels, I know when the person is just not allowing it, because not because the person is doing self-defense. Of course, I am there and the person paid me for this and wants it. No, it's just because it's an unconscious reaction of trying to hold it. That is very typical with people who are so sensitive that they've developed almost like an automatic mechanism of, tensing. Could I push and go through? Yes, I can, but that is not the purpose of the exercise I'm doing. The purpose of the exercise is exactly to see how it flows normally. When it's a blockage, we push to get rid of the blockage, but that is something different. the reason why I'm explaining this is because sometimes we feel the energies are not penetrating, but it's because there is an entity blocking the person. Sometimes we feel it does not penetrate because the whole energy body is so stiff, so stagnant as a whole, that the energy is almost like it's all one huge energy stagnation. What we would identify in specific chakras, it's all over. What is the ideal thing for the person to do for this? Velo. I have followed up over 1,000 people throughout 1 year in how velo would help them progress. And that's why I did so many of these energy measurements. The number one thing that velo helps is for these energies to get more fluid, to flow more easily. That is the number one thing that changed. So, but then what am I saying? If somebody asks me, what did you feel? And there are so many other examples that I'm not going to say. But what did you feel? I felt the energy didn't enter. So Nancy, how do you know? It's because of whole energy body, it's one chakra, it's an entity stopping, or the person is not allowing it to enter, or it could be A, B, C, D, F. I do not know how I know, but I know. It's almost like you have coffee that is over toasted, the grains, or one that's greener. You learn how to distinguish. But so many people drink the coffee and it's coffee. It's only coffee, all our coffees. So we need to develop our capacity to observe the details, the subtleties. That is key for our energy control. And that's why sometimes some expressions are not good enough. We need to understand what's being said behind. So I hope, Anne, I explained what I meant behind the words. Good. I have here another question. That is from Jotun. Hello. That is 2 of 2. So you've got to have your first. Let me see if it's this one. Hello. I did velo plus relax and got into a vibrational state and focused on physical healing in a general way just for fun. Okay. And then I fell asleep, but woke up from a vibration and ringing from the base of my spine that spread from there out to the body. Like there was a focal point and it spread all over. I fell asleep, but woke up from a vibration or ringing from the base of my spine that spread there out to the body, so distributed. What do you think happened? I think this is part of the vibrational state, or you were detaching. Because when you describe this, like the ringing, the vibration with the ringing, almost as if there is a sound, that is very typical of the vibrational state. Sometimes there are people that in the vibrational state hear sounds more strongly than they feel the vibration. So it's like and like a roar or like thunders. But here I see that different chakras of you started getting activated. First was an overall activation, a quick vibrational state, and then you felt one chakra more activated than the others, saying the base of my spine. You do not mean the root chakra, do you? Like in the area of the sexual organs, or was more like in the back of in the lower back? Because they are different chakras, but deep down my answer is the same. One chakra was activated. Some people, they feel it, like for example in the sole of their feet or in their hands. So from that point, the intense activation comes and it spreads all over. It's almost as if the vibrational state at that moment started in one of your chakras and then it spread. Sometimes it's a burst of a release of energy. So it's possible that the vibrational state and all the velo you did released some sort of energy that was there, very intense, very, let's say, stagnant. This happens a lot. That's what how I interpret what you are saying, like a huge release that may have been a consequence of the vibrational state or may have produced a vibrational state. But what is most important here is that all of this was prompted, as you said in the beginning, by the velo. because velo does this. Velo starts relaxing your energy, making all of the energies like more activated. Energy flows better between one chakra and another, and then it allows all of this conscious out of body experience, vibrational state, perceptions of some presences around. Speaking of it, because we are almost on the Black Friday week, I am going to send to all of you an email with a sale for the Velo course, Velo 101 course. Okay, in case you are interested, you keep an eye on your emails so you see that within the deadline of the promotion there. But if you left your names there and subscribed to the newsletter, you will receive it. If you are interested, Jotun, you make sure I have your details, okay? And then I have here another question from Patricia, but I'll get the new ones first to make sure I reply to all of you. When I feel energy, or the energy body, but I cannot understand because it's almost like your hands were misplaced in the keyboard. When I feel energy body, waves, but okay, and stretch, why? Like you stretch to make the sensation go away? Is that what you are saying? Because you are not used to it? And she explains the text is bad. How do I contact you? Oh, you have a business contact email in my website. So if you go to the website, you have there the contact details. Good, Brenda. But if you are saying that if that's what you try to explain here, that you feel a sensation and that causes you like to stretch, almost like a cat, to try to get rid of it or to try to balance it out, many people do that. And you are correct, if I could understand what you wrote, that you need to get used to the sensation. Because sometimes we have some sensations that we are kind of, what do I do with it? Like, for example, even the vibration. The vibration state, it's shorter, right? So it comes, it's gone. Okay. But sometimes you may be lying in bed, any of you, and you may have a sensation that is almost like a buzzing, that is constant there. I'm not talking a noise in the ears, I'm talking a buzzing all over the body. And some people say, what the heck? Leave me alone. I want to, have a blackout. Sleep, but sleep in a sense of getting unconscious, because you can sleep with that. But we want to sleep unconscious rather than let the body sleep and the brain sleep, but remaining conscious of what's going on in the energy. And often when we reach certain level of relaxation, the metabolism goes down enough to a certain point, we start observing energy sensations whilst the body is sleeping. Or better saying, the energy sensations would happen anyway. And if we manage not to have the blackout, we would sense that. And then some people find it like, oh, I need this to go away for me to relax. So what you are describing here, I read as if you were talking about this. You need to move and make it go away, but you have to get used to it. You said it very well. That's what you need. Just getting here to Jotun's comment. Yes, the sensation was in the lower back. So it's pretty much one of your chakras here activated, and then we feel like it distributes, right? Through the spine, head goes through the legs. And it's very common that it produces sometimes a very intense vibration in the sole of the feet, like hundreds of needles, but pleasant, all over. I do not know if you got to this point, but sometimes it does get there. Matt Miller says, when I do velo, I get a very strong cough. What does this mean and what can I do about it? Usually, it means that there is some sort of energy accumulated, meaning old energy. It's not an excess, it's not excessive energy, but it's one type of energy, almost like there is an energy field within the field of your throat chakra. And when the energy is past there, sometimes we feel like tingling, but uncomfortable one, sometimes heat, sometimes cold, sometimes we cough, sometimes something is there uncomfortable. Some people feel pressure, like there is something creating a pressure here. And all of this means the same thing. We are identifying almost like a nodule of energy that is there inside, and it produces some different types of sensations in the physical body. That's why I said heat, cold, pressure, and coughing. What can you do? You can try and do some exercise that is in parallel with velo. In parallel meaning you are going to practice both, but not simultaneously, of course. One before, the other one after, or you will do in different moments, but it's like you are going to add. Usually it's 1 month is more than enough, you do not need more than that. You are going to add another exercise. If I were talking to you, I would ask you more details of the type of sensation, when it happened, how it happened, so that I can identify how deep the blockage is. But I'm going to give you some examples of what you can do that may help you get rid of this quicker. Only velo will normalize that. But of course, sometimes this is disturbing and we want to give it a hand to reach it sooner, because velo is going to balance out all the energies and get rid of these sort of nodules. But does it mean that all of us can go deep enough to tackle all of these nodules? Perhaps not. So let me give you some ideas of parallel exercises. One of them, you can emit energy through your throat only, almost as if you identify the sensation of your throat chakra here, and you make energies go out through it. You are not trying to achieve anything with it other than activating, dealing with your throat chakra. And speaking of it, here's my allergy again. Apologies. Ooh. Sorry. I am in California, but these allergies, I don't know, it's pollen, whatever. Anyways, it's only me coughing. So going back. So the reason why I say you are not trying to do anything specific with the emission of energy through your throat is because you are not going to try, for example, make the energy reach somebody or something. No, it's only for the sake of, you know, when you are on the treadmill, you are not trying to get anywhere. You are just moving. Same here. You are just sending out. So it may help you relax a little bit these energies and allow velo to work deeper there. Other times you can also try and do like a self-energization. You with your own hand, you energize your throat. The hard thing on this is that your throat should not participate, only your hand. So it's your hand affecting your throat and not both at the same time, or not the other way around. So you would be, again, just trying to release. It's just more like getting feet moving, seeing if you can warm up for a deeper energy work on velo. Another thing that is very good is singing. But sing, I don't know if you like singing, Mac Miller, but singing in a way that you are conscious of the energy coming out. You know, when you sing and you put your heart out, you do not hold back. So I hope you like singing. But that also helps. But it's important that you do this. For example, you would do any of these things. Pick one that you see it's working better. Try and see which one you feel it's giving you more effect. Pick one. Let's say you are going to do that once per day, any time of the day, but that you see it's bringing you good results because you can focus, you can concentrate. And then you can do velo normally throughout the day, or you can do velo immediately afterwards, for example. And then you see, or immediately before, but then you see how one exercise is helping the other. And then it expedites. This situation gets sorted out. Arte is here. Hello, it's been some time I don't see you here. Thank you for joining. Is the blackout after the vibrational state an unavoidable part of an OBE? No, it's not. Very often we can have the vibrational state and do not black out. If you black out after the vibrational state, we have to assume that you are leaving the body consciously, but you are not remembering, you are not being able to hold the attention in a continuous conscious process. So you are here, you start attaching, vibrational state, and then when it goes beyond, which of course most logically you go out, but it can also be that you just return and fall asleep. But most probably you go out, but then blackout. Blackout or lack of recollection? I think that is the first thing that you have to analyze there, Arte. Do I black out? Or I don't remember anything from that moment on? Because these are two different things, and I'm going to explain the difference. When you black out, means you lost your lucidity. So you only had dreams, you were unconscious from that moment on. But sometimes, after the vibrational state, once we disconnect, we go further from the physical body, we may have continued lucid, but not remembering later. And it's completely different ways for us to tackle this. I would suggest you start by considering it's a blackout, which is what you are doing. And then you, when you have a vibrational state, instead of thinking of an OBE, I would like to propose that you think of, let me see how far this vibrational state goes. Because very typically, when we would like to leave the body consciously, we have the vibrational state and we think what? Okay, I'm leaving, okay. And sometimes just by thinking of it, it's crazy, we completely block the experience in that session, not forever. But in that session, instead of going out, we abort it. There, what I'm proposing is that you have the vibrational state, so that means you are on the way, but you just enjoy the vibrational state, not trying to make it go stronger or anything. Oh, let me see how it goes. Let me be so flexible, so passive, but passive to the vibrational state, nothing else, so passive. Let me follow this, let me surrender to this experience, let me surrender to this vibrational state. You see what I mean? Instead of observing, and then you enjoy it. The reason why I'm saying it is because very often people try and think of the out-of-body experience too soon. Vibrational state comes sometimes and ejects us outside of the body, but it depends on the type. If you have my book, you see that I classify there 4 different types of vibrational states. And the third and the fourth kind of eject us out, but not the first and the second. It still would be very strong sensations and very positive, and we are getting close to the disconnection. So perhaps you just allow it, and then it comes, goes, and makes fade away. But comes a different wave, then maybe you will feel energies being distributed, and you feel like electrical shocks inside your body, the nice ones that we feel when we are about to leave the body. And then comes another wave of vibrational state until it gets to the right point when the disconnection will happen. And at that point, if you manage to get up to there conscious, what you do is you observe the disconnection. You will it without doing it. What's the difference? You will it is you want, you are open, you surrender, you put your motivation there, but you don't push it. You see the difference? Try and do this, because I think most probably this is what is going on. That's the reason for the blackout. But you have also to consider that maybe it was a proper vibrational state to take you out of the body, and you just don't remember when you come back. And in that case, my suggestion is for you to try and prepare yourself a little better before you do a technique, or before you relax, before you go to bed. So next time when you are having a vibrational state and you assume there will be an OBE, but you make sure of the things that I explained before, please. But then what you say is, okay, let me focus my mind on what's going on now. Because if we anticipate the OBE, We let go a little bit of the attention to what's going on in that moment. And in that moment, maybe we are just seeing expansion of our energy, or we are not seeing anything. It's all black. We are just still detaching. We are too close to the body to see, but we expect to see something, and the expectation will interfere in our recollection and could even reduce lucidity. So try to observe what sort of thing could be happening there, and you adjust it. You have to prepare yourself for this moment and for this experience. And he complements here. I get up to my leg levitating and then black out. Yeah, you are probably using their strategies or pushing too strongly for you to detach. Because of some people, they find it easier for the legs and arms to detach, which is for me the case. I normally find it so much easier to detach first from my legs. So you have to see, oh, this is just the beginning. Let's see. I'm glad the explanation helped you, Arte. Wonderful. Guys, I hear people arrive here and I have a commitment, so they're coming to pick me up. I'll have to say goodbye. I know there is a question from Patricia we could not answer, and a few others. No problem. We are going to be together next Saturday. Hopefully, I'll be here with you and discussing and answering your questions. I am keep an eye on your emails, okay? Because I'm going to send you just the Black Friday offer, but I am also going to send you invitation to some free courses that I am going to give. But I want to do it via Zoom so we can see each other. So I need you to register. I need to send you the link. So you please keep an eye. Okay? Jean-Marc, you are here. Very nice to see you. Have a nice weekend, all of you. Bye-bye. Thank you for being with me. Ciao. Thank you.